today's summary covers the events of Shah Rukh Khan's films. This is a summary of the movie Dunki, which briefly talks about a soldier in the army, anticipated situations within a youth group, who want to attack for one of the great powers. Unfortunately, circumstances will not help them. So they must find one of the illegal ways to travel to England. They must come down due to the current situation about their Indian nationality. But we must see how this happens before we begin. Let's begin the movie in a bustling hospital located in England. It shows Patience. He can't open it. And when Patience first entered the facility, you begin to notice the cigarette appearing. He suddenly takes it out of his pocket. The money is given back to her for allowing her to smoke a cigarette. And another time he tells her she can't smoke it because of the presence of fat consultants. And another time, your focus is primarily on money to get her out of the hospital. Eventually, he becomes a consultant, and he lets her smoke a cigarette. And the second time, he tells her she can't smoke it. And the third time, he tells her she can't smoke it. And the third time, he says she can't smoke it. And the second time, he says she cannot smoke it. And the third time, he tells her that she absolutely cannot smoke it at all. He says she can smoke it. And the third time, he tells her she can smoke it. And the third time, tell her they should arrange a meeting. Hardy reflects on his desire to meet him after everything. A second time he asks her if her husband is dead or not, but she tells him that if he wants to know more, he should come and meet her in Dubai. She tells him he needs it if he's afraid of his wife. He will say he visited his old friend. When you close the deal with her, please instruct the lawyer to prepare 3 visas for her. Visas for both of her friends. Who goes to them and surprises them that they can travel to India. But the first one will travel to Dubai to meet his friend from the Fort Hardy. At that particular time, someone begins selling the local tailor shop. The second one begins to officially resign from the job he had been working in. When the manager provokes the restaurant, he hits him, because he will steal the country and he will have nothing. And they are actually preparing themselves to travel to Dubai. And we travel back in time, 25 years, to the vibrant city of Punjab. When they were still the 3 little ones, their only dream was to travel and explore outside India. This is because each one of them has a problem. For example, Manu's father mortgaged the house because of his debts. As for Lalto, he wore his mother's clothes, who always wore pants. She is a trustee responsible for his care. The village men were always intrigued by this. As for Bali, his mother was always busy with the sewing machine. They were all completely useless in any job they ever did. They don't hire him for a variety of jobs. Their village was notable for many residents having traveled abroad. They used to distinguish the homes by placing a cement plane on top of the house. The 3 of them dreamed of landing a plane on their house. This is precisely what prompts them to visit a travel agency. They expressed a desire to travel to London when asked about their destination. But unfortunately, they did not have any high qualifications, not even owning land or having cash saved. Despite that, he tells them that he will be able to travel with them. He tells them that one of them is going to marry a British woman and give them cancer. Then you give him citizenship. The second one will get a work visa. Then he ultimately chose to pursue being a doctor. This is because his mother always longs to see him in town. When it's Manu's turn, he tells her that she's going to travel to the Olympics, but on the condition that she finds a good trainer to teach her wrestling. واللي ما كانش لسه يعرفه. He arrived at Jabal for the first time with only his clothes and recorder. It arrives at a certain restaurant, and he begins searching for someone he clearly knows very well. I tell the people who are focused on this and are in a hurry. Of course, at that time, Manu was working in the same restaurant, and also she was determined to repent to him. Then the owner of the first store gets annoyed when he sees them and asks her to throw him out. Of course, she doesn't refuse him and asks him to treat her as a customer. Because she has already submitted her resignation, he must now bring her request to her attention. Of course, the owner of the place throws it nearby. But Hardy was following all of this closely and was stopping him and preventing him from hitting her. And not only that, he pulls him by the leg and makes him fall. When the restaurant owner tries to attack him, he turns him over. Hardy was a former army soldier. At that moment, she saw Manu and was very surprised by the move he made. Her greatest request is this. She quickly asks Hardy to inform her teacher and demonstrate this impressive move to her. But Hardy refuses and tells her that he has a specific mission and that he will leave one day. Hardy's desired person's specifications are not revealed at that time. She informs him that she is ready to go with him. Her brother is the unexpected person. She rides a motorcycle with him to her house, now not theirs. And they were sitting in the small annex next to their house after they left. When he meets her parents for the first time, he recognizes them. He tells her father that there is a person there named Hardy. He was working in the army and got injured. And their son saw him at that time, picked him up and ran with him a long distance to the hospital. Not only that, but he kept asking about him, taking care of him and playing him songs from his recorder. Over a year passed, and the recorder did not return. Hardy surprises them by revealing he is the soldier. He just got out of the hospital about a year ago now. He came specifically to return their recorder. But unfortunately, he is surprised when he asks them about the owner of the recording. He is informed that his accident caused his death. Manu began sharing everything that happened to them with Hardy. Because of all the debts they have, she needs to travel to London to return home to her father once more and prove to them that their son is still alive. In return for the favor, Hardy decides not to travel and to help Manu to learn the basics of wrestling and be able to travel. And he patiently began teaching her the various burns she wanted to master and learn. You will learn rapidly in a brief time frame. He goes to my house to meet the beautiful British bride he is going to marry soon. And also for those who are trying to get a work visa. He attempts to persuade them he's a doctor. When they start asking him where this word is located in the human body, he can't answer. This is the reason why they refused the visa. He was surprised to learn he wasn't the only one intending to marry the British girl. There is more than one man who marries the same girl. When they all return to the office again, they are surprised that the owner of the office is a con artist. He took the money after solving the issue. And then Hardy tries to convince them that he will act. And he goes to his mother. He tells her that her son is married to a woman who has children. Her children, frustrated with her marriage, killed her and claimed she was in a hospital. His mother couldn't handle the news then. Then Hardy gently wakes him up and explains that her son had to take this crucial step. Because of the significant money I lose due to the visa issues. She questions the value of money without her son. This is precisely what prompts Hardy to call her son once more. He tells her that this is an act so that she can know the value of her son. And of course it will result in a hard line. Quickly his mother pulled his hands. She asked him to swear on his grandmother's soul that he will never think of going to England again. Unfortunately, he had no choice but to swear by his grandmother's soul. What he expected actually happened. His grandmother died. And that's because I haven't stopped dreaming about London yet. Hardy comes to them and tells them that he promised to take her to London. And he got ready to whistle them with her, but on the condition that they know how to speak English. And then they can visit London pretending to be students. And then they decide to go to the best English teacher available. Also among those who are learning English is Suki. Those who see Hardy, especially when he knows that he wants to leave London within 3 months. By any means, even at his own expense. And when night comes, Hardy tries to find out why Suki wants to whistle for England. And he could know from him that he loved someone. Her father refuses to let her marry him. A single woman from London is permitted. He took her and traveled to London, but only recently, I know. Her husband began to abuse her. And she started sending him messages to come and save her. That's why he is absolutely determined to do anything necessary to travel and save her. The only effective way to achieve that goal is to learn English. And the next day, the surprising revelation is that he is deeply in love with her. He was amazed by how she looked at him, so that he feels that their English language is hitting their teacher. They are divided into many foreign films. And when a certain scene comes, it starts to mean that she is suffering. Then Hardy runs and stops the movie. When Hardy inquires about the reasons for her suffering, she explains that the movie's meaning is about a hero lying to his girlfriend while proposing. This shows his respect for her. And with practice, it is possible to promote it. The very next day, Gita enters the room and they are all happy. Then they say that they found a specific way. Anyone hailing from Punjab can certainly do it. He travels to England with ease. Then they ask the participants to test them. Ask them about any topic they can talk about in 2 minutes of English. The first one he asked was Suki and asked him to talk about the Taj Mahal. Then Suki begins speaking fluently and with a captivating kind of beauty. This is accomplished by placing English sentences side by side for comparison. Through it, they can remove the red squares and talk about any topic. Of course, it was Gandhi Hardy's idea. At that time, the teacher was impressed by his idea. The day will eventually arrive when they all go to take the exam. The very first person to take the test was Manu. I was surprised that they didn't talk to her about anything. They are simply engaging in a typical casual conversation. When you casually ask her what she ate for breakfast, of course, she's unable to provide an answer. My period comes to mind. The moment will be nice. They tell him to talk about any topic for 2 minutes. He is very creative with the sentences he inspires. When they ask him about the specific mistake in the sentence, he unfortunately can't answer. And the only thing missing is Hardy, who also doesn't know how to speak English. When he is absolutely sure that he will fail him, he seeks their sympathy to evoke tears. I don't shake her hand for the sake of her family. He loves her and won't confess his feelings until in London. Especially when picking up, he will propose to her on one knee, like in the movies. Of course, Suki fails. He explained that he was whistling just for his girlfriend, which is why he returned her. He's not quite ready to live there yet. Unfortunately, the results appear the next day. The very first one to see the exciting result was Bali, and the one who faints when he sees her. Bali was the only one who succeeded in achieving them. Of course, at that time, he tries to exploit the situation. He imagines that he was the one who was able to zero it out through his teaching office. And as soon as he sees Suki, he runs down and hits him. Hardy follows and attempts to soothe him. He shares the address of his beloved Bali. Upon arriving in London, he will find her and contact them for reassurance. He deeply feels guilty in his conscience at that time. He isn't able to whistle all of them. My boy will surely return to Suki one day soon, and he starts telling him that what he said hurt him inside. He is ready to blow up London through illegal immigration. He will cover all of the necessary travel expenses. He faces the risk of being repeatedly beaten by the police. The overall success rate of its arrival is currently 25%. Then he hears their phone call coming from London. He was meant to reassure her about his girlfriend. Unfortunately, Suki receives some truly shocking news. He learns his girlfriend has died by suicide. When I found out that he had failed the tests, he can't come to save him. At that moment, Suki's thinking stops, and he starts to drown himself in jazz. He also doesn't hesitate to set himself on fire and commit suicide, because he won't be able to live without his lover anymore. Although Hardy attempts to poke fun at him, but unfortunately it will be too late now. Despite everything that happened, Hardy does not lose hope, and he promised Manu that he would make her cry. There is only one possible way to enter, which is through illegal immigration. 3 additional participants are included in the trip, and in their first step they notice the watchtower in the middle of the sea, which was not supposed to exist before. Despite all this, Hardy decides to complete the journey. By all of them being submerged underwater completely, they breathe through the hose. They complete their path underwater. Manu suddenly appears over the sea. Peter Hardy hands her his oxygen hose so she can breathe easily. At that moment, the watchtower notices their presence and fires at them. It is very difficult for them to save their lives. After they walked a very long distance, Hardy encourages them during the trip through the beautiful photos that Bali always sent them from England. The one who was photographed next to the new house that he bought. He also purchased the car that he bought in less than 6 months. They go back to the place again through a meat refrigerator. And then you begin to deeply understand Hardy's true feelings. He always protected her with his life. And on the sunny day they were walking through the vast desert to catch a Turkish train. They are met by vigilant border guards. At that time he asked a group of them if they wanted to leave. Unfortunately, when they start running away from him, he starts hunting them with his snipers one after the other. And they all 3 die. Hardy and Manu take the length of the tent. At that time, the leader was trying to get used to Manu. Of course, Hardy doesn't allow this and kills him. He also kills some of the soldiers who are with him. And he brought him back to bury his 3 friends. When the Turkish drop arrives, at that time, Hardy is forced to confess his love to Manu. He does all this for her. And then he returns to complete his long and difficult journey. In the end, they finally arrive in England, unexpectedly locked inside a car. And inside his chair, and also in bed mattresses. And at that time they were overjoyed when they first knew that they were actually in London. The first place they reach is the pigeons. And then Hardy carefully prepares his boxing ring. When they try to kill him, he falls. The time he screams for Alto. He sees a statue resembling Bali. But the undeniable truth is that he's all on his own. He is simply a homeless beggar in England. They are also surprised when he takes them to the place where she was. and there was more than one person in it. Then Hardy starts to get angry. He tells him that it's because of the fake photo he was sending, which was the reason why the people of his village live fake dreams. It makes them try to get around in any way. However, the unfortunate men toil tirelessly for this, and willingly accept that you take the money he sends. He feared the police would destroy the house they were living in at that time. At that time, Hardy thought of returning to India again, but she firmly refuses him and pleads with him to stay by her side. He began searching for a way for them to return to their home country legally. Then he meets the experienced lawyer, Mr. Patel. Those who tell them that if they want to return, it is legal. There are only 3 ways. They purchase any property for a sum of £1 million, or they exploit their right to asylum. They exploit the death of their friend Suki, who was burned. The Indian government is alleged to have started the fire. They fled to England to escape from the government. The next solution is the passport. Of course, the best solution for them was Manu's passport. Of course, the government knows about their plan and arrests them. They will have another battle before they leave. He tells them that the only solution for them to return here is to request asylum. And the time will come when they will be brought before the judge. And then he says the truth and refuses to let his country rise up. The judge denied his request and ordered him to leave due to legal reasons. To India solely because she feels no need to return home. She is his mother who is requesting asylum. Additionally, Bale and Hardy's exciting trip, after enduring all the difficult challenges on their journey, unfortunately that was the last time they saw each other. And we return again to Dubai. When you come back, you won't see Hardy after 25 years. They began to explain their problem to him. Because of the asylum application they submitted, they are unable to return to India again. Hardy is utterly shocked when he discovers that Manu is still not married yet. She's doing this in an effort to encourage him to get married. He was even more shocked when he found out that Manu was about to die. She has a brain tumor and she has no choice but to see, but then she curiously asks him if her father hung his beloved pet with the house or not. He tells her that he was hanged and that he did something to them on the roof. And then she wants to see this intriguing thing for herself. He will also legally deport them. Then he calls his girlfriend and tells her that he needs her help. He needs to know the number of any travel agent for illegal immigration in Dubai. He sends the address of a specific person in Dubai. At night, Hardy gives them clothes from India and Indian newspapers. And he requests that they dispose of their smartphones and British SIM cards completely. At that moment, the representative will photograph them before they enter the container. It also knows the container they are traveling in. And when they leave, he reports them to the government. And those who actually reach the container as quickly as possible will be arrested. They respond that their nationality is English when he asks. The officer doubts them due to their language. And also their Indian sisters. Of course, this is a smart plan from Hardy. Because in this way, they will know that they are illegal immigrants and will deport them to India. We discover that this was done in agreement with their agent. And all of this is because of Hardy. And actually, Hardy fulfilled his promise to bring them back to India. Manu returns home and is pleasantly surprised by Hardy's unexpected surprise. And he made the pickup clock above her house. He also stated that he is still legally married to his spouse. He made this hour specifically so that when she comes back, he can ask for her hand in marriage, just as he promised a quarter century ago. But unfortunately, it will be too late, and Manu tragically dies shortly after she agrees to marry him.